Hello, everyone. This is the first video of a series of videos about off-grid sizing. We will be talking about the battery sizing and the charge and discharge rates to use. Then the inverter sizing very briefly, the charge controller sizing in a little bit more detail, and then the array sizing to match all of the equipment that is necessary. We're going to do this in a series so that it's not one long, complicated video, and each one will be labeled concerning the questions that they deal with. So there's a Word document here that has, let's see, 13 different questions on it. Over the series of videos, we'll be covering them. Now, this is the second time that I've done this. The first time I tried to actually film it with the camera, and I realized that we are mirror imaged. And so all of my time was wasted for that because you could not read any of the words that were on the paper. So if you're creating videos in response to this, such as questions, keep in mind you will need to type anything that you want us to see, because if it is handwritten, it will not show up in a legible form. So a little bit about this problem. This problem is more difficult than any that you have seen. It is much more along the lines of what you'll be getting for testing. So that's one of the other reasons we're breaking it down into sections, because some of you have not even gotten to the point of working these, and so some of the information is applicable to different sections. One of the first is going to be the battery information. We are using very realistic battery information here. You see a 250 amp hour C100, a 245 amp hour C72, a 240 C48, and a 225 amp hour C20. All of those numbers came from an actual battery. This is a Trojan T105RE. This is the exact same battery that we're going to be using to replace the old golf cart batteries that we took out last semester in Energy 221. But I didn't just make these up. So if you are looking for the information directly from the spec sheet, this is what it will look like. Feel free to learn to find this information. Do a Google search. I would recommend pretty simple battery data sheet Trojan T-105RE, and you should pull it up pretty quickly. But there's several characteristics about this battery that we are going to use, and this is kind of going to be a standard battery because when we do return to campus, the batteries that we've been studying on paper, we will actually be able to hook up to some of our equipment to test the outputs, to test the charge rate, and the like. On our next video, we will be beginning to answer question number 1 and several of the other questions. So if throughout this series of videos you have questions, I would recommend writing them down, watching the rest of the series of videos, and if you still do not find the answer to your question, then either sending me a group email. Remember, I want everybody to see your question, just like a classroom. Everybody would hear the question. Or I would like you to create a Loom video that has your question. But keep in mind, if you're going to show us anything, it's going to be mirrored. So a written question would need to be typed out in order for us to see it. Well, thanks for for participating, and I hope that this small series of videos gives you all the information you need for sizing an off-grid system.